Jonathan Trevante Cena turned heel over the
heel,
weekend.
man, in the greatest fashion.
Turned heel at the end or after the Elimination Chamber where he won. He got the final elimination over CM Punk, thanks in part to a very well-timed curb stomp by Seth Rollins. And The Rock, who you see in the middle with a very peculiar outfit on. But apparently, this is how this character dressed. The final boss dresses in bell bottoms and is shirtless in a vest.
Man.
And Cody Rhodes, who was lying bleeding, was faced with the choice to sell his soul to The Rock or face the consequences. And in an incredible moment, WWE allowed uncensored the first F-bomb in pay-per-view history. Uncensored.
Thanks.
When Cody told The Rock to go fuck himself. Gotta pop out of me. I couldn't believe we got that moment, and I thought that was very, very cool. The crowd goes wild. The Rock is looking at him like he's just shocked at what was going on. Cody goes to dap up John Cena, and The Rock gives the signal to Cena to turn on Cody Rhodes. And after, I know, over 20 years since we've seen the Doctor of Thugonomics as a heel, John Cena, in what is his swan song for his career, has decided to finish as a heel in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Vince McMahon is somewhere rolling in his career grave right now. Vince McMahon is still alive, but Vince McMahon, the booker, the wrestling WWE booker, is rolling over in his grave right now. He would not allow Cena to turn heel for merchandise sales. That was it. That was the reason. Now you don't need that because, first of all, the biggest draw in the company is Roman Reigns, and he drew most of the money as a heel for 4 years. He's a face now, but he drew the most money as a year. So it's a whole different time period now. And when I tell you, from my understanding and from all indications, they are full on in with this heel John Cena character.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have a villain version of the Make-A-Wish slogan prepped for his shirts and everything. Like they have the trademark. This is going to be a full heel turn. He went to the podium and he took the microphone off of the stand and did a mic drop and walked off. Like he is fully committed to being a heel. And I'm very much excited about this because not only do we get him as a heel, The Rock, the final boss heel character, is also returning. And these two didn't like each other as a WrestleMania 28 and 29. And now they have joined forces. Hollywood Rock, Hollywood Cena. This is an awesome story. Cody Rhodes' title reign has been as pedestrian as it can be, coming on the heels of Roman Reigns' title reign. Right. And now it has new life. And yet again, he has The Rock to thank for that. I honestly don't know what's going to happen at WrestleMania. Ric Flair's streak is on the line. The streak of, or not streak, but record of 16-time world champion John Cena is tied with that. And the story I think they're going to go with is John wants that record, and aligning with The Rock ensures it, which is a great story. And like, I'm very much invested in this. And John Cena became desperate. And it goes back to like all of these stories where John kind of teased turning heel and he didn't. And now it's finally happening. And all of those characters who teased him turning heel all said it's in him somewhere to betray people to get ahead. And he has not had an opportunity to do it. And this came at a perfect time. With all that being said, Greg, I have set you up as best I can. I know you have been looking forward to talking about this topic since I announced that we were going to be talking about it pre-show. How do you feel about John Cena's incredible heel turn?
I simply love this John Cena. I love the Thugonomics. I love when he was heel, and somehow him being a heel he just became a babyface. Now, what I really feel, what I really feel was going to happen is, like they said, Bray Wyatt had called this about him when they had their stint. I believe if Bray was still alive, there would have been some type of segue to where this kind of opened up, and then the Fiend would have been the third person to
That
feed
would have been
into
so
this.
cool.
This would have, man,
so
when I tell you that would have been epic, man. Rest in peace, Bray, because I kid you not, like this would have been epic. The only thing I really want out of this is John Cena has to go back to Thug Life. He has to bring that song back out. He has to embrace the full heel. Brock, on the other hand, like you said, I'm still questioning. I don't understand this whole 1970 bell bottoms. I don't see it, but it could be a play from. I'm trying to think of who the manager was back at that time that basically had. It could have been maybe like Hulk Hogan, which we still, as Iron Sheik say, fuck the Hulk Hogan. It could be that, what I'm saying, like it was the heel turn for Hulk Hogan, something like that. It could be the New World Order because they do have like, photos of,
and we keep getting hints of the numbers. Like the first time The Rock came back, he had the number 3 up. When he signaled to John Cena, it was the number 2. There could be a one last man.
That's one. We ain't even worried about the goofball in the right hand side. I wish you could edit that out. But I believe the third man.
Just a minute.
The third man, y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but none other than that's Rollins.
I like that theory.
Chris,
I know we talking about wrestling and this shit is crazy and whatever. And now Chris is already committed to watching WrestleMania, so we are gonna have a WrestleMania.
Oh yeah. Oh, of course.
Bruh, I keep telling people you can't sleep on the fact that Seth Rollins made the win for John Cena possible.
Right.
You can't sleep on that part because CM Punk had Cena dead to rights. Seth stayed in the chamber long enough to get the curb stomp off. Also, there's an interaction between Cena and Seth earlier in the match where he refused to fight Cena in favor of jumping on Punk.
Mm-hmm.
There was some storytelling within that match. Also, Rollins hates Roman Reigns. He was an integral part of Roman Reigns' loss. Rollins has already expressed that he felt betrayed by Cody because Cody teamed with Roman Reigns against the new bloodline. Like it all makes sense. Now, I do believe Rollins, Roman, and CM Punk will be in a triple threat at WrestleMania, and that's going to be great from a storytelling standpoint. The best way to pay all of this off, I'm going to tell you right now, I want Cena to win. I want Cena to win this match at WrestleMania. Rollins recreates the heist of the century where he cashed in on Roman and Brock Lesnar, but this time he comes in and he does a stomp on Cody, leading to John Cena winning. That's how ideally, and we carry this story on to the next WrestleMania. Right now, WrestleMania 39, 40, and 41 is telling one long story. And I believe it's going to stretch to 42. Where we ultimately end up is going to be The Rock and Roman. That's the money match. That's the big one. That's the one you want to get to. I got Rock and Roman headline at WrestleMania 42. If they did go with heel Cody, I wanted Roman to have to fight Rock on night 1 for the right to fight Cody on night 2. That was my original booking of this. But the way it plays out now, man, I think John should win. I think John should win and make this story take on a whole new turn. But the way they did this heel turn was so I couldn't imagine a better heel turn for John Cena than what they did. Because of all of the story threads that feed into it between him and The Rock, the whole little thing with him and Seth Rollins, CM Punk and John being great rivals, and burying that should have been a signal to me right then when they shook hands before they started fighting in the Elimination Chamber. And then yesterday on Raw, CM Punk essentially expressed his disappointment with John. like all of this story, man. When I tell you, WWE has been cooking ever since Triple H took over the book.
Mm-hmm.
They have been a well-oiled machine, and he is telling a great long-form story here. Chris, I know Greg and I said a lot. I'm not gonna put you in the predicament of having to go through this from someone who knows all of the background. From a casual watcher standpoint, what did you think about the heel turn that shocked the world?
I feel like it was long overdue, man. I feel like it was long overdue. And I do feel like this may be essentially the perfect way for him to go out on. Because
we
John
agree.
First came, when John first came into the business, he was a stand-up guy trying to get everybody to love him and rock with him, and positivity, thug life, never give up type shit. And like now for all that to accumulate to him essentially being the heel, like I think that's cinema, man. I think that, and I think, like you said, Triple H his experience is the business itself, is what's guiding his pen so marvelously the way it is right now. Like,
and he's I feel like Triple H has the privilege of coming from a wrestler who was frustrated by Vince's right.
Facts.
And they get to do it differently. And again, man, this man has given us 3 straight great WrestleManias, and it looks like he's going for a 4P. It looks like he's going for a 4P, man, because then I'm not even going to talk about everything that's going on with Raw. The Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill story is insane and took another turn. That is a crazy ass story right there, man. With Naomi, where does she fall in line with this? Then Rhea Ripley loses the title on Raw, and now it looks like it's her and Bianca. Bianca is acting shady. Quite frankly, she is acting kind of funny. Like, that's a great story that's going on. Jay and Gunther is a big one. We got Randy Orton has been inserted into the KO and Sami Zayn situation. Like, and then again, the aforementioned Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Rollins issues. Drew McIntyre looks like he's gonna go after Damian Priest, who embarrassed him at the last WrestleMania. Like, we're headed, we are very much on the road to WrestleMania. The only ask that I have is that you don't let that little motherfucker on the right hand side of your screen, you don't let him near this. That man slapped the shit out of Cody.
I'm talking about,
man, popped his ass.
The payoff of it's got to be a payoff for Cody. It got to be some revenge. Somebody said wrestlers don't take that kind of shit lightly. They don't care who you are. And when he get his hands on him again, he said, Cody gonna hit him for real. He gonna hit him for real. He gonna let him have it back. By the way, a blunt was also smoked the other night. That was crazy. But yeah, man, like all of this is shaping up. But yeah, Travis Scott, I hated his whole involvement. It was really weird. I feel like he was supposed to go to the back, and The Rock was like, nah, man, you come out here and bullshit. But him slapping the shit out of Cody like that was funny. I can't even lie. It was hilarious, but Cody got to get his get back for sure.
Now, I'm going to say this. The one thing I noticed about the WWE is we're getting back to better feuds where the title is not the biggest draw anymore. Like, there was a time where the title was good to have, but you had feuds like Austin and The Rock that carried the feud. That feud carried so well. The promos, you literally got, it was like a double treat. It was like fries at the bottom of the bag. I got them feud and I got a title fight. Like, exactly. Even if they didn't have the title fight, the feud they had still could carry it as if it was the main event. And then you still got a good main event. Now that they've got back to that type of skill and writing, I believe now, I think all the older fans will come back and start watching more now.
Yeah. I am seeing some like fans who gave it up.
Yeah.
Again, Chris, I really want to see what your reaction to WrestleMania is going to be because it's legitimately been a different product for the last 4 years almost. It really has.
Definitely.
Yeah, it been for about 4 years, but it really started, and I shared this the last time we talked about wrestling. Roman is such an important part of why it's cool again. Because Roman was doing his thing and Vince was still there, but Vince kind of let go of the reins, no pun intended, and let he and Paul Heyman handle that side of it and everything. And honestly, this whole story spreads from the bloodline story because this is a continuation for what happened at the end of the last WrestleMania. So he's an important part. I think all of this ends in about 2 years. Cody and Roman have to run it back one more time. It's tied 1-1 right now. They got to run it back one more time, and I think that properly ends the entire bloodline story. When we get to the end of that, that ends the entire saga. Speaking of the bloodline 2.0 is going to implode, and it's likely going to be Jacob Fatu, which is a menace. He is a menace of a wrestler fighting against Solo Sikoa. Like, it's so many elements that's building up to this Mania. And you kind of, around this time, around Royal Rumble, it starts to get really exciting again, but you don't quite have the picture until the end of the Elimination Chamber, and now we got the picture of what's going to happen. It unfolds, and it's highly unpredictable. Yet again, for the 4th consecutive year, it's going to be an unpredictable ride.
U-GeekTV.